It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z Garcia.
Hey folks, today I'm taking a look at trekking the national parks. In this game, you and your friends are going to be traveling around the country. You are going to be gathering cards and using those cards to move, to visit parks, to collect those cards that give you victory points, and ultimately have the most points and win the game. It's a pretty straightforward game with traversal and some simple card gathering. Let me just show you how the game works, and I'll tell you what I think of this one. Here we go. The objective of the game is to get the most victory points, and you're going to be doing that by traveling around with your character here, collecting these stones, which you might be able to score at the end of the game if you have the most, and then also going to specific parks and claiming them. You are going to be using these bonus cards for getting victory points at the end. You have one for having the most park cards collected, which I'll show you in 1 second. That's 5 victory points. And then you have a bonus 5 points for whoever has the most of each color of stone. So same thing, yellow, black, red. These are all the colors that you see on the board here. And then the other cards that give you victory points are these, which are the park cards themselves that tell you a park, a number of victory points, and a specific set of symbols you need to give up to cash in if you are at that park on the board itself. And there's a certain number of these that are chosen depending on the number of players. As you can see, many different values and different symbols on all of these. The player cards are these here, and they give you those symbols as well as a number which you'll be using to actually traverse the map itself. Everybody starts with 5 of these, and then we lay out 5 face up on the board. I'm going to wipe some of this just so I can place some cards on the table here and give you a better idea of how this works, okay? There's going to be some of these face up, as well as some of these face up that are available to everyone, but I won't place these out. Just be aware if there are some face up and ready to be taken by all the players. On your turn, you get 2 actions. You can take the same action twice, or you can take different actions. And the options are, you can draw one of these. You take it, put it in your hand. You do not replenish this until your turn is over. So if you take 2, you can take 1 and take another. And then you replenish. You can also take from the top of the pile itself, okay? The other option, second option, is move. You can move. To move, you have to pay the connection costs between locations, and you can do that with the numbers in your hand. And so let's say I have both of these cards. That's a 3 and a 1. I am red. I can go from here to here. I stop there, and I would take this stone and add it to my supply of those, which again I might score the majority for at the end of the game. So that's how that works. And then my last option is I can claim a park card. The way that operates is if I have a card out there, if I go to that location and I give up the symbols that are displayed on that card. So let's say this symbol here, and I need the boot. Let's look for the boot. There it is. So this one and this one, for instance, the numbers do not matter for this part. If I give this up at that location, I claim the card, and then it is immediately replaced from the pile of park cards. All right, so that's how that works. Very simple. Draw these, move, or claim a park card. You are going to continue doing this until the cards have run out, the park cards have run out, or until all of these stones have run out. You're going to finish out that round. You're going to do the scoring as I told you, and that's pretty much the meat of the game. There's a couple of other things that come into play, like for example these airports at which you start, by the way, and there's a few others around the board here. There's one here, there's one here, one over here, one right here, and those are going to allow you just to basically jump around a little faster from one to another, but then you do have to stop when you get there. You cannot keep going after that. And that's basically it. You also cannot go through someone else if they're standing in your way. So if someone's here, you cannot I can't end there or go through them, etc. I have to find a way to, you can block other people in this game. It does happen. So that's pretty much it. Besides that, the game does include another little variant, if you would, which it calls postcards from the parks, which are these cards here. And these are also a way to score victory points. The difference with these is you can claim them anywhere, and you can cash them in anywhere. Same way, you have to give up those symbols to score that many victory points. Difference here is these go in your hand, and at the end of the game, if you still have not done so, if you still have not cashed them in, sent the postcard, then it actually penalizes you by that many victory points. So you need to be aware of that. It's simpler to do. They're easier to grab, to find, but you got to be careful you're not stuck with it when the end of the game catches up with you. And it adds in this bonus as well when you are playing with those postcards, which is most stones, no matter the color. Okay? So that's pretty much it. You continue doing that. Turns are very quick, and once the stones have run out, like I said, or the park cards here have run out based on the number of players, game's over. Most victory points is the winner of the game. For those of you who've been keeping up with our best of the month videos, this was recently highlighted by me as my best new game of the month, and with good cause. I have truly enjoyed this game. It's a really fun, quick, but interesting. It's almost like a Ticket to Ride that's a little bit lighter, a little bit faster, and it just works for me. It's a gorgeous looking game, really simple to teach. I can get this probably played with just about anybody. And if that person is into the outdoors, into parks, then this is a slam dunk. There's no question about it. I think this is the kind of game that would make an excellent gift for someone who is outdoorsy. I think it's the kind of game that you can get the whole family playing and get a little bit of teaching and education going on in that game session. Very simple play mechanisms, very simple sort of involvement, but engaging enough where you're not going to be bored, and pretty enough where you're going to be, your eyes are going to be getting some eye candy while you're looking at the game, because it does look good, it's well made. And on top of that, an interesting theme that could actually be used as a teaching tool, which I think is pretty rare to get a game that's both fun and could work as a way to do some educating, So I was pretty impressed with this. I recommend it very much. Even if you are not interested in the education part, I still think it's a good, very light, but good game, which could go over well with non-gamers, which is what I intend to do with it. I think this is going to be the kind of game that could really be spoken of in the same breath as Ticket to Ride when you are talking about specifically teaching new people how to play this kind of game. And so I think I'll be able to use it for that, and I think I'll be hanging on to it for that very reason. It's very pretty. I've enjoyed it a lot. I like that variant, throwing that in there. But really, it could work either way. You don't have to throw in the postcards. You can play without that, and that's fine. Nice, clean, simple, pretty short gameplay. Check this one out. Trekking the National Parks. Thumbs up from me. I really enjoyed it. Check it out, folks.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.